Can a non-techie retired sheet metal worker DIY a NAS storage system? And if I can, will this Asustor Lockerstor 2 Gen 2 be a game changer for my video editing workflow? I'm going to find out, because I went out and bought this unit with my own money, along with 2 Western Digital 8TB Red Plus drives, and the Samsung 990 Pro 1TB NVMe drive. If you want to jump ahead to the unboxing and the installation, use the timestamps in the description. Even a small YouTube channel like muddyruttzz creates massive video files and thousands of photos. I exceeded the memory on my Mac Mini a long time ago. When the storage gets full, iMovie either bogs down or just stops working altogether. My workaround was incredibly tedious, either deleting all kinds of media or relying on iCloud or Google Photos. But downloading old footage for new videos takes forever. At my age, time is getting more and more valuable, and I'd rather spend it out overlanding or riding my mountain bike than sitting there waiting on a download bar. Plus, setting up my own cloud might finally let me cancel some of those pesky subscriptions. So how did I get here? I started off with Xfinity, paying for gigabyte internet service, but getting a lousy Wi-Fi signal down the hall in my office. Because my house was already wired for Ethernet, I decided to dive in to that mess of blue wires in my structured media cabinet. I installed a modem, a router, and a switch. I learned how to crimp RJ45 connectors, and I built myself a 2.5 gigabyte home internet system. You can check out that DIY home network upgrade in the video link appearing over my head. Having that 2.5 gigabyte wired system gave me the foundation to kick my storage up a notch with a NAS, a network attached storage. I did my research, watched a ton of videos on NAS storage systems for video editing, and landed on the Asustor 2 Gen 2. And shout out to all the YouTubers that make videos about NAS storage. Thanks for not making them too boring, because let's face it, this isn't the most exciting subject in the world. If I was fabricating HVAC ductwork, I'd be right at home. But with this DIY NAS storage system, I'm in uncharted territory. So this unit has 2 drive bays, though you can get enterprise versions with up to 24 bays. The brains of this Lockerstor is a quad-core Celeron processor. What does that mean for me? I'm not totally sure yet, but it's got a great cooling fan right here and plenty of connectivity. This unit features 2 2.5 gigabyte Ethernet ports. Those will plug directly into my router's 2.5 gigabyte ports, doubling my file transfer speeds. It also has an HDMI port if I want to run a monitor, and 2 10 gigabyte USB ports. There's also one on the front. There are a lot of possibilities here. If you guys are NAS experts, leave your tips and app suggestions in the comments. For the bulk storage, I chose Western Digital Red Plus drives because they were a bit more budget friendly than the Seagate Iron Wolf drives. I consulted with a buddy to project my future storage needs and settled on 2 8TB drives to future-proof the system. They will be set up in a RAID configuration, redundant array of independent disks, which means if one drive fails, my data is protected on the other. I've heard they can run a little noisy, but since this NAS is going to live in my hall closet, I won't hear a thing. Okay, let's see what's in this box. Got a clip to help hold the power cord on. I got a bunch of little tiny screws. Got a power cord. Got the AC/DC adapter. These should be a couple of Cat 6 Ethernet cables. And some actual installation instructions. Well, normally I would have just thrown the instructions away without looking at them. In this case, I looked at them, and it turns out I should have just thrown them away. So I'm going to tackle installing this NVMe first, and I think I need to remove this cover. Black gloves have little grippers on them. My fingers don't work as good as they used to, so when I'm dealing with small screws and the rubber surface here on my workbench, it helps me keep stuff from falling off. There we go. It's just 3 screws in the back, and this thing comes right off. Here are the bays where that storage is going to go. Take this and open this up and see what we got in here. There's a chip down there. The bays are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in number 1, and I can add 3 more if I find out that that's going to help me out, but these are pretty expensive. The risk of dropping this, you see this little notch right here, might be next to impossible to see, but there is also in the bay, there's a little notch on this side. So this chip can only go in one way. So bay number 1, you got the business end of this thing sticking up. That should go in. Okay, we're locked right in. I think I got it right. I think I can go ahead and put the cover back on before I lose those little screws. Now these Western Digital Red Plus drives, 8TB. Now I'm going to install these in the cassette or the drive bay. Now before I take this out of the wrapper, I'm going to take out one of my drive bays. And all you do to do that, hit that, pull on this arm. Now this Western Digital 8TB is going to go into here. Let's figure out exactly how that's done. So if you can look inside there, you can see where the drive plugs in down here. That means I'm going to want this part of the drive to line up with it so it can plug in. There's screw holes on the side of the drive. This can only get screwed in one particular way. Now these are just absolutely tiny screws, but I got a great selection of bits here to use with my screwdriver, so I should be able to find one that works with them. Little magnet on the end will hold the screw. So if I did everything right, this should slide right in. Then you just push this down to lock. Okay, great. I guess we got one done. One more to go. Okay, this one's all set up. Slide it in. Hopefully it locks right in there. I got my Samsung 990 Pro NVMe installed in the Asustor. And I've got the two Western Digital Red Plus 8TB drives installed. Okay, I've got it all put together. Now let's put it in the closet, hook up the power and the Ethernet cables, and see if I can't get this mapped to my Mac Mini. To stop your power cord from falling out, remove a fan screw and replace it with the provided P-clip and screw to secure the power cord to the NAS. Okay, the NAS is plugged in. I've got some green lights and a couple blue lights there. My Ethernet wires are running all the way up into my network cabinet here. And they go right into my 8-port, 2.5 gigabyte desktop switch. Now it's time to fire up my Mac Mini, see if I can get this whole system to work. Okay, everything was physically connected together. I fired up my Mac to initialize the software, and that's where this project officially hit a stone wall. When I got to the volume settings screen in my Asustor Data Master software, one of my 8TB Western Digital bulk storage drives was nowhere to be found. The system gave me the option to initialize only one of my 8TB drives or that tiny 1TB Samsung NVMe drive. I actually hopped on to Google Gemini right in my browser for some quick tech support. Gemini advised me to physically remove that NVMe drive for now. That was to make sure that I didn't accidentally install my NAS operating system on my high-speed cache drive. So I pulled the NVMe drive just to eliminate the variables and started the process over. But I was still only getting one of my 8TB drives showing up. I cleared the browser cache, restarted the NAS, and I swapped the drives back and forth between drive bays. That's when the light bulb went on. Drive A worked in both bays. Drive B worked in neither. I had a DOA, dead on arrival hard drive. But being a DIYer means adapting. So I packed up that bad drive in the box, took it on down to Best Buy, and tried to swap it out. But if you think the software was frustrating, the retail customer service was worse. Before I could even explain that I wanted a replacement, she processed it as a straight return and returned the money back onto my credit card. But why is that a problem? Because I originally bought that drive on a killer sale. When I asked her to reverse it, she said, no can do. She said, I never mentioned getting a new drive. To buy the exact same drive was going to cost me an extra $100 and take about a week to get there. I walked out, sat in my Jeep, and ordered a replacement Western Digital Red Plus 8TB drive from B&H Photo. It still cost me almost $100 more than my original purchase, but it would get there a lot quicker. The muddyruttzz private cloud project was officially on hold while I played the waiting game. Well, the waiting game is over, and I officially received my new Western Digital Red Plus drive. I'm going to install it right now and see if the software recognizes both drives so I can build my RAID array. If I can get these two hard drives up and running perfectly, then I'll tackle the NVMe part of this project with a new twist. Gemini advised me that I should use two of the Samsung 990 Pro drives instead of one. With two drives instead of one, I'll be able to create a blazing fast read-write cache for a killer video editing system. But first things first, let's get the two hard drives initialized. Well, I put the Asustor Gen 2 back in my structured media closet, connected the power, connected the Ethernet cables to my 2.5 gigabyte switch. I hopped on my Mac, opened the ADM control center, clicked custom setup, and worked my way over to the volume settings. Boom! My two WD Red Plus bulk storage drives showed up. Now I could start the initialization process and get those two drives up and running. With those two Western Digital drives online, it was time to shut the NAS down, open it up, and install my two Samsung 990 Pro NVMe drives. With those installed, I'd be able to create my high-speed editing workspace. I got that done and initialized them. Everything was working beautifully. I felt great about this project, and it was time to go to bed. Well, I went to sleep with a killer video editing system set up, and I woke up around 5 a.m. with my dog Freya barking her head off. That's when the Asustor started flashing and beeping and letting me know something had gone completely haywire. I jumped on my Mac, shut that awful beeping off, and checked the logs to find out that another one of my Western Digital Red Plus drives had gone bad on me. The log tells you exactly which bay the dead drive is in. I pulled it, checked the serial number, and sure enough, it was a second drive I had bought from Best Buy. I got the NAS back up and running on the single Western Digital drive that I had bought from B&H Photo and the two Samsung 990 Pro NVMe drives. I packaged the dead drive up and headed back down to Best Buy to see if I could exchange it. Best Buy had absolutely nothing in stock, and I couldn't even order a replacement. I went out to the Jeep, ordered a new one from B&H Photo for nearly $100 more than the one I returned. So having to return two drives I bought on a killer sale at Best Buy and buying two more from B&H Photo added about $200 to this project. And that ain't chicken change. I've got my folders set up, and I'm already doing some lightning fast editing on those two NVMe drives on the NAS. When FedEx drops off that new drive, I'll set up a RAID 1 mirror that will keep all my videos and photos safe. There will be a full deep dive article on muddyruttzz.com where I can include tons of detail that you just can't fit into a video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Don't forget, on Muddy Ruttzz, the best is yet to come.